Hello and very good morning to Doctor and my fellow friends. I am from TUTORIAL1 Group 3 and will be presenting Chapter 8, Managing Human Resources and Diversity. Now, I'll be introducing my group mates. Chai Ching Sheng, Farah Batrisha Fahmi, Putri Nur Ain binti Tahir, Lim Shu Yi, Muhammad Hafiz, Ting Yang, and me, Sham Ho Yin. And I'll be presenting question number 1. How does human resource management affect all managers? First thing first, we should know what is human resource management. Human resource management is a management function concerned with getting training, motivating, and keeping competent employees. Human resource management helps a company understand how its workforce adds value to its internal processes. The quality of an organization is determined by the quality of people it employs. Staffing and human resource management decisions and methods are critical to ensure that the organization hires and keeps the right personnel. A smooth working, effective human resource management program can affect all aspects of a business. By screening and recruiting the best possible people for each job so that they can improve a company's ability to make more money. Managers can set up training programs and make sure employees know how to do the job they are on and the ones below it on the corporate ladder. By implementing workforce policies, human resource managers support the main initiatives corporate leadership puts into place to boost sales growth. Managers may step into the spotlight on such key operating battles as market share improvement, workforce training, and research and development innovation. Human resource management specialists also assist department heads in hatching good ideas for future profitability, preventing the ideas from going nowhere, and telling segment leaders whether the company has the right manpower in place. For example, the decisions made by human resource managers will affect all other managers in the business, such as the finance manager. The human resource manager's decision to hire employees will affect the finance manager as he or she will need to allocate funds for recruitment, selection, orientation, training, and retaining employees. The human resource manager will also need to select employees who will perform operational goals effectively and efficiently, hence affecting the operations manager. All the decisions made by the managers in the business will essentially affect all other managers. As human resource management is important for its source of competitive advantage, hiring the correct employees will benefit all other functions of a business. Thank you, and I'll pass the floor to Hafiz.
Hello everyone, I'm Hafiz and today we are going to discuss about question 2. There is discuss the external environment factors that most directly affect the SRM process. The external environment that directly affects the SRM process is the environment. This is because the company needs to ensure the employees' welfare, discouraging discriminatory policy in SRM, and lastly, ensuring employee safety. Okay? The reason why the company must ensure employees' welfare is because employees must provide statutory benefits which mandated by the government, such as working compensation, working hour limit, maternity benefits, and facilities that can fulfill basic human needs and health. Ensure employees' welfare and maintain employees' satisfaction on working with our company. Failure to do so would lead to complaints by labor union. Eventually, labor union will push for better pay and benefits for employees with productive movement. Company would also have to provide married couples for more paid maternal leave and ensuring welfare for female workers. Secondly, is to discouraging discriminatory policy in SRM. This is companies should avoid any discrimination in the hiring process and working environment such as gender, age, disability, skin color, nationality, and religion. Managers must accept the diversity in working environment by providing opportunities for employees without racial prejudice. For example, United States of America has an act as a law in United States American with Disabilities Act, which dictates an employee and employers must provide reasonable accommodations for qualified applicants or employees. A reasonable accommodation is any modification or adjustment for a job or the working environment that will enable an applicant or employee with disability to participate in the application process or to perform an essential job functions. Last but not least, is to ensuring employees safety. Employers also should provide physical, emotional, psychological, and career safety in working environment. This is because safety issues are varied in the different working environment. For example, industrial workers who are using heavy machinery may expose to physical harm, while cleaner workers who work in the office may often experiencing psychological harm such as sexual harassment. Managers must create a clear and accurate standard operating procedure (SOPs) to prevent any accidents, actions in any incidents, and create periodically safety assessment. Managers should also create better awareness and guidance for all the employees in dealing with sexual harassment. And that's all from me, and I shall pass the floor to my friend.
Hi, I am Putri Nur Ain and I will continue with question 3. The question is, some critics claim that corporate HR departments have outlived their usefulness and are not there to help employees but to shield the organization from legal problems. What do you think? What benefits are there to having a formal HRM process? What are the drawbacks? Firstly, I want to state that I don't agree with that claim as mentioned above. It because they not just shield the organizations from legal problems. Instead, HRM play a big role in any organization, and they always make sure their employees' well-being kept preserved. It can be proved as the responsibility of these three important processes, which are employment planning, employees adaptation, where have the employees adapt to organization, and lastly, where they help to improve the employees' performance goal through employees' performance process. That's why management human resource or HRM is one of the most important managements in organizations and business. Also, as we can see that an effective and high quality HR manager must have knowledge every issue related to employees' rights, especially all laws that will eventually affect human resources management or HRM. And because they're responsible for hiring the right person for certain positions, they must be aware that they have ensures regulatory compliance and laws in achieving organization goals. Furthermore, to shield the organizations or company from legal problems, first they need to make sure to prioritize employment rights such as non-discrimination and equal employment opportunities. So here we can prove that HRM always be there to help and take care of the employees and at the same time protect the companies from legal problems that may lead to failure in management if they cannot overcome it. As I mentioned before, there are so many processes for HRM to help the organizations in managing the employees. The first process HRM need to follow is human resource planning. This process, managers ensure that they have the right number and kinds of people in the right places at the right times and people who are capable or effectively and efficiently in completing any task that will lead to organization success. So, in this process, there will be recruitment, where HRM will be locating, identifying, and attracting capable applicants, followed by selecting, where HRM will screening job applicants. Next, they will be hiring and officially offering the job to the ideal candidate. After that, to brush and empower the employee skills, they are given training and also orientations. And then, the second process is important, which is performance management, as it helps to encourage and boost employees' confidence levels in doing their jobs. So, HRM must provide job satisfaction to sell to employees by giving fair salary and remuneration, include incentive and fringe benefits or bonus to the employees. The last HRM process is employee relations, where they help to create the good relationship between organizations and employees so that the employees will always feel motivated in doing their job. And here are some benefits of having a formal management human resources or HRM process. Firstly, embody the building skills among employees. Management human resource help to conduct and guide the staff to do their jobs better and in the right way. So it will be a pleasure to invest in providing the necessary training for the employees, thus the employees not only can build skills but also increase their ability in working together in the organizations. As a result, the company will be able to achieve the best result and high performance in management system just by relying on their own employees or people they already own rather than asking for others' help who are not in the organizations. Next, increasing retention or maintaining something in a long term can be achieved if HRM prove to the employees that HRM really value and appreciate their works enough even for a small contribution. Also showing that the management human resources could invest their time, knowledge, ideas and resources to help the employees growing better. This eventually make the employees feel so appreciated and boost their motivations as well as make them feel that the job is interesting. In this case, employees may consider continuing working in this company for a long term. Eventually, company had no worries of securing the top talent in the organizations if they can maintain the high quality employees for a long term rather than recruit a new one as well as improve employee retention. Another benefit is predictability and planning for change. As we all know, world is changing at a very fast rate and as well as business, especially because of the invention of various technology in many industries. Each country has their own capability and not every country will follow up with the same technology or innovations. So it's management human resources sole responsibility to make sure that they always follow up with any update and help the company stabilize their firm for any obstacles awaited in the future. That is why having a formal HRM process can help the employees do the good jobs, gain knowledge, and come with plans for the management. It will make sure that the employees can stay with the company for a long time as well as lessen some of the uncertainties. However, even though there are so many benefits one company can gain through formal HRM process, but there are still some drawbacks. First is expense, because it costs money to train and invest in each employee in the organizations, especially in order to training and give the orientation to them. Human resources manager could spend some expenses in training or reallocate employee hours from jobs or tasks that are more unlikely to increase the human resource manager's revenue. Another drawback is lack of security and privacy. How it can lack of security? Okay, as we already know, there is a lot of personal information of employees that have been recruited, and all of this is available with management human resources. But can we really guarantee that it had been protected and secured enough by them? Improper management by human resources could lead to a breach of security and accessing fellow employee sensitive data. And this is actually one of the problem and drawback that make the employees feel worried to do the job there. Next drawback is HRM process may be unpredictability because it cannot be guaranteed that the employees who have been trained by HRM will continue working in that company long enough until the manager could obtain the goals and they could lose the top talents. Even though HRM has provided greater degree of stability by building the skills and secure of the top talent among employees, does not mean it can help the organization achieving the goals until very last. That is why the company should prepare at any cost for the future to avoid any problems or unpredictable plan like this. This eventually can involve the company into legal issues and problems among employees. not only the company, but it also affects the employees' performance and privacy, as their personal information had been used for wrong purpose. That's all for my part, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ting Yan. I will be presenting on question 8.4. Do you think it is ethical for a prospective employer to delve into an applicant's life by means of interviews, tests, and background investigations? What if those investigations involve looking at your Facebook page or personal blogs? Explain your position. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, the definition of ethical is about what is morally right and wrong. So in my opinion, it is ethical for a prospective employer to delve into an applicant's life by means of interviews, tests, and background investigations. But it is not ethical for the investigations to involve looking at your Facebook page or personal blogs. So I agree on the statement that an employer can delve into an applicant's life by means of interviews, tests, and background investigations. Because interview is a vital component of the hiring process, the interview enables the employer to determine an applicant's skills and experience. So through the interview session, both parties can also figure out if they will benefit from the hire. Tests can increase the employee retention because tests are among the most accurate means of predicting performance. So through the tests, employee can determine whether the applicants have the basic attitude required for the job. I also agree that employers should do some basic background investigation about the applicants, and the information gathered must be for the job-related purposes only. And the background investigation done must be consistent for all candidates. Employers should collect info without violating the privacy of the applicants. So some basic background investigations that can be done are like the applicant's work history, educational verification, drug tests, and whether they have any criminal background. So this is to ensure the new hires will not potentially harm the businesses. So it is not ethical for the investigations to involve looking at your Facebook page or personal blogs, because in my opinion, background investigations of personal life are not necessary. Social media provides inconsistent supply of information from different sources, so it does not provide reliable and consistent information about the candidate. Some of the information on social media can be misleading and inaccurate. Investigating one's social media will not give employer the answer on how that individual will perform in the workplace. And also, one of the dangers of social media checks, background checks, is that it will unknowingly and inappropriately influence the employer's hiring decision. And this is what we call unconscious bias. So unconscious bias will affect our judgment without even we ourselves knowing about it. And it will lead to employers judging candidates unfairly, just based on what they saw on social media. So in conclusion, I think it's not ethical for the investigations to involve looking at our Facebook page or personal blogs. That's all from me, and now I should pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Good morning to Doctor and all my classmates. My name is Lim Shui and I am from Group 3. Now I will discuss question 5, which is discuss the advantages and drawbacks of the various recruiting sources. The first recruiting source is Internet. The Internet is a global phenomenon. Recruiting through Internet can reach large number of applicants no matter where they are. 79% of job applicants use Internet in their job search, and 17% of hiring managers say that they are hired successfully through social media or internet. However, due to the different standard of education around the world, employer may generate low quality of applicants. The second one is employee reference. Current employee will want to work with someone who have quality and high quality candidates that helps company produce more profits. Research shows that employees who hired through reference programs produce 25% of profit for their companies. So an employee recommendation can be trusted because they are not going to risk their reputation by recommending someone is unsuitable for the position. However, sometimes employee reference will upset employers when employees just want to work with their friend or earns reference bonus. Ideas from different perspectives are very important in solving problems. By using employee reference may end up with a less diverse of employee. This is because employee will find candidates who are who are similar to them. Second, posting a job vacancy on your own company website do not cost anything, and it will attract some specific groups. For example, applicants who want to find similar job scope in the same sector. On the other hand, it will also generate unqualified candidates. Through college recruitings or job fair in college, employer can easily train students or fresh graduates because they don't have any experience before and are less likely have bad habits compared to previous employees. However, employees are less experienced even don't have any experience because it is limited to entry-level position. Last but not least, using a recruitment organization, recruiting, collect and assist resume, check reference, and filter talent applicants by using the best interview techniques. Once recruiter understand your business goals and standard of the employees, it will save time. However, there is an extra expense when company decided to use recruitment organization. Standard recruitment cost tends to range between 15% to 20% of a candidate's first annual salary. That's all from me, and I will pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Good morning to Doctor and my friend. So now let us continue about the case application. Today our topic is unconscious or implicit bias and theoretical bias training. So let us proceed about the 10-point summary. Today the company we are studying is Starbucks. So in the first point, we are knowing that two young brand men meet at Starbucks store in downtown Philadelphia to discuss a real estate transaction. Going to second point, one of them asked to use the restroom and was told by the manager the restroom was only for paying customers. Continue to the third point, the two black men declining the offer to the drink. The manager called the police and the men were arrested on suspicion of trespassing. And in the fourth point, we are knowing that a video post online shows several police officers responding and handcuffing the two young men, and other customers have asked why they were arrested when they had done nothing wrong. So in fifth point, Starbucks CEO Kelvin Johnson apologized for the incident on media, and the employee who called the police already not working there. In sixth point, CEO also said that it was his responsibility to understand what happened and what led to that and ensure to fix it. Continue to 7th point. One step to fix it was a review of company guidelines which differ among its 28,000 stores far worldwide, but the most dramatic way was an investment in unconscious bias training. In 8th point, we are knowing that Starbucks closed all its more than 8,000 domestic stores for one day to conduct anti-bias training. So in point 9, some Starbucks United States employees were training on unconscious or implicit bias, in which people make decisions based partly on stereotypes without being aware that the stereotype has influenced them. In the last point, we are knowing that training can aid individuals in recognizing unconscious bias and identifying how to minimize it. It was according to academic researchers who have studied unconscious bias. So my presentation ends on here. Let me pass the floor to my friend.
Hello everyone. I'm Nathaniel. Put my name is an statement, question 11. What is the purpose of the training for Starbucks employees? And why is this training important? So, Starbucks is investing in unconscious bias training for one day. The purpose to help managers and employees to identify and aware the unconscious or implicit bias in their decision-making process. Why is this training is important? This is because unconscious bias training helps let people aware that unconscious bias exists, and it will help managers to reduce the likelihood that bias will impact their decisions. We must understand that most training participants will learn that even when they do not consciously endorse a stereotype, it can still influence their attitudes and behavior outside their conscious awareness. This will lead to managers who expect to slow down the decision-making process and utilizing their rational instinct instead of relying on their gut instinct, which can be influenced by bias. Secondly, this training is aimed to combat any form of discrimination practices in workplace. Discrimination may come in various forms, such as gender, age, disability, sexuality, skin colors, racial, and religion. Discrimination affects some workers who feel they are being alienated and challenging their promotions and any incentive to improve their performance. Unconscious bias training can help managers psychological state to be more tolerant towards diversity. This is because managers will aware the biases that they are experiencing and would overcome the emotions or unhealthy thoughts that can come across in their mind. This will result in managers and employees create mutual understanding, trust, and cooperation with each other. Last but not least, is to ensure company reputation from public outcry and legal output. The incident that happened in Philadelphia taught how much valuable lesson on a little and unconscious bias issue that can lead to change in how much reputation. Companies nowadays must be competitive with communities as widespread of social media allow freedom of speech and expression, which is a double-edged sword for someone. It would be much sense to implement this unconscious bias training because it will ultimately affect their customer value delivery. How much investment to train and guide the staff on this training will pay off because the customer will be satisfied and will be much more sense for farmers to implement this unconscious training bias because it will ultimately affect their customer value delivery. Farmers' investment to train and guide their staff on this training will pay off because customers will be more satisfied and gain their respect towards farmers' steps will be more inclusive. Thus, farmers can be more competitive and would gain support from the society and the government because farmers create a positive brand image that encourages diversity among citizens for a single cup of coffee. That is all from me, and I shall pass the floor to my friend.
So let us look at question 812. What is unconscious implicit racial bias? Why is it a problem for organizations? So let us look at what is unconscious racial bias. Unconscious racial bias is where people make decisions based partly on stereotypes without being aware that the stereotype has influenced them. So this does not imply that the individual is overly racist, but rather that their perceptions have been formed by experiences, and these perceptions potentially results in biased thoughts or actions. So unconscious implicit racial bias can cause individuals to unknowingly act in prejudicial ways. So this is an example of an act of unconscious bias. For example, a black applicant and a white applicant sent out similar resumes to the employer. Only the white applicant were called in for interviews, although they have equal qualifications. So why is unconscious racial bias a problem for organization? Firstly, it will affect the hiring process. It has been shown that such bias will have an impact on recruitment. So unconscious racial biases will lead to poor decision making by employers and not hiring the wrong person or hiring an unsuitable candidate. It will also affect diversity. When an employer has an unconscious bias against hiring employees outside his race, this will lead to decrease in adaptability in the company. Because a team of people from the same background will provide a low variety of perspectives and also the same solution to a problem. It can also cause problems in retaining good employees. Managers that keep promoting unsuitable employees beyond their abilities. Some employees that are consistently neglected for a promotion he or she deserves. So this will cause talented employees to get frustrated and leave the company. Lastly, it will reduce productivity in the company. Unconscious racial bias that will influence a variety of things, including how employees may interact. So this will affect the moral and overall experience of the workers, which leads to damaging the brand reputation. So I think that's all from me, and now I'll pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Farah Batusha. Now I will be answering for question 13. Beyond this intensive in-store training, what other things could Starbucks do to create a more sensitive in-store experience? First, sensitive is like you are sensitive to other people's needs, problems, or feeling. You show understanding and awareness of them. For example, we are aware of issues or even cultural differences that are happening around us. Back to the question. So first, Starbucks can create a forum to create a more in-store experience. Starbucks can create a forum to discuss the opinion of employees about implicit racism. Place billboard in the work area that states the adverse effect on individuals and others due to implicit racism, and design a strict zero tolerance policy against any kind of racism. Next, attention to details. The details often make the differences when working to improve the customer overall in-store experience. Regularly change the front window display or decorate the store if there is a celebrations to show the impression to other cultures. Remove out of date signets and keep the floor clean throughout all open hours. Additionally, attention to details including the way associates a great customer as they enter the store. Go beyond the standard. For example, hi, welcome to Starbucks. How may I help you? Rely on a small talk as a great way to engage customer and welcome them into the store and to avoid some misunderstanding among the employees. Third, listen to customer wants. Whoever the customer are, listening is one of the simplest way to provide excellent customer service and avoid implicit racism. Sometimes customers just need to be heard, so be sure to actively listen to what they have to say, especially when barista take order and jot down their names. This is because Starbucks baristas often wrongly spell their names or sometimes will judge them based on who they are. And this will irritate them. By listening attentively, Starbucks employees can understand exactly what their customer needs from them without being any bias. For the question 14, what can you learn from this story that will benefit you? A. Personally. B. Professionally. For personally, from the story I learned that some people aren't aware that these incidents are epidemic. So helping them become aware of how privileged they are might be helpful. Also, to judge someone without knowing him or her is morally and rationally wrong and impact the optimism of an individual. If the employee had not judged two of the customer in the wrong way, all of them would have not to be faced trouble. Moreover, I learned that implicit bias is dangerous for me as well as others. Next, changing behavior can actually lead to attitude change. So, designing diversity training programs that focus on changing biased behavior is, in the short term, can be key to changing biased attitudes over the longer term. Next, for professionally, education should be ongoing. Because from the story that mentioned that Starbucks CEO re-educates his employee. Diversity training cannot be one and done activity. Instead, organizations should commit to an ongoing education program that continually reinforces themes of inclusion and confronting biases. Diversity training can be truly effective. It has to take place over an extended period. Many problematic beliefs are so deeply ingrained that it takes quite a bit of effort to overcome them. While even one training session had positive effect on team members' attitude and behaviors. As time passes, they resign back to where they were before the training. A more permanent change took time and repetition. Next, anti-bias and diversity training is just the first step. While a good anti-bias and diversity training program benefit any company, it is not a standalone answer to correcting racial imbalance inside the company. Any training that rolls out should coincide with a deep examination of how biases and structural racism play out inside the company. Make a diversity and inclusion key value and incorporate them into the company structure, from hiring to employee onboarding to training and beyond. Stay up to date on current research in the workplace and commit to an anti-racism policy throughout the company. Only then will we start to see the needle move toward a more diverse and inclusive workspace. That's all from me. Thank you.
Now I will discuss question 15. Is implicit bias an ethical or social responsibility issue? Make a decision and defend your position. First of all, I think that implicit bias is an ethical issue. Ethical issue occurs when a given decision, scenario, or activity creates a conflict with society moral principle. Based on the case application, the two young black men just wait for their friend at Starbucks store to discuss a real estate transaction. One of the young men requires to use the Starbucks restroom, but was rejected by the manager because the restroom is only available for Starbucks customers. However, the two young men were arrested on suspicion of trespassing. The vision statement of Starbucks is treat people like family and they will be loyal and give their all. However, the employee did not accomplish the vision and made a wrong decision by implicit bias. Implicit bias is an unconscious attitude, belief, or association that attributes certain characteristics or qualities to any group of people in society. Sometimes it will refer to stereotypes. Stereotypes affect the employee perceptions of things in our behavior without us to have much awareness of it. The employee has stereotypes about skin colors, think that black men are bad guys even though they do nothing. The employee should serve every customer ethically and equally. That's all from our group. Feel free to ask any question. Thank you.